It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Folks, I came across a merits case that was filed in the federal court systems in Florida. This merits case has to do with MPS Modern Oberon Americas. We all know that MPS Modern Oberon Americas have had some legal battles, right? There was a legal dispute in Italy. There's a case right now, a merits case in the federal courts of Florida. We'll see where all this goes. But at the end of the day, I think it's important for our industry. And the reason I think it's important is a simple reason. As our industry continues to go through disruption and decline, it's going to get pressured. And I believe there's going to be a whole lot of decisions made in courtrooms over boardrooms as the industry's pressure continues to grow. Think about our industry, ladies and gentlemen. Our end users are questioning how relevant we are every single day. People are going to be fighting. We're going to see OEMs fighting each other. Trust me, it's coming. We're going to see dealers and OEMs getting into spats. Those spats are going to end up in courtrooms. We're going to see software providers getting into courtrooms, as we see between Oberon Americas and MPS Monitor. Ladies and gentlemen, Valsoft is actually being sued by one of the owners of NextEra. And that lawsuit came about shortly after they bought NextEra. And at the end of the day, I think it's important for our industry to understand these lawsuits. And unfortunately, our industry really doesn't have a venue where anybody digs into these lawsuits, so I'm going to take it upon myself to start doing that. Because I think it's important you understand the industry as you talk about these lawsuits, because I think it's important for the industry's actors to pay attention to this stuff. I mean, we got NextEra out there with an advert talking about, hey, we added some capabilities to our software. We know that NextEra is owned by Valsoft, who also owns MPS Monitor. When Valsoft bought NextEra, they put NextEra underneath the umbrella of MPS Monitor. You've seen the episode I did on that, right? I thought that was kind of crazy when they did that. They tried to make NextEra a DCA tool, is what I told you. That's my opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, are we going to get more involved with a software company that right now has court problems? Let's just put it that way. I think we need to understand what these court problems are and how they're going to be resolved before we get deeper into relationships. That's my opinion. And folks, I'll tell you right now, when Oberon Americas was no longer the exclusive distributor for the MPS Monitor software, I did an episode on it. Remember, I pulled up Predictive Insights website, and they were the folks that were selling the EKM DCA tool. I talked about that quite a bit too, right? And all of a sudden, Predictive Insights is now distributing the MPS Monitor software. And I said, I wonder how Oberon America is going to feel about that. But we all found out how they felt about it. There was a lawsuit filed. The dealers that were on the MPS Monitor platform through Oberon Americas had to go through some crap. They could still be going through some crap. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we can't just hide this and pretend it's not going on, because it is. Here's this other lawsuit. The owner of NextEra files a lawsuit against Valsoft shortly after Valsoft buys them, reneging on agreements. I think this is a personal issue. I'm not going to get too much into that, but it is public information. I will say this. It seems some in the industry are too focused on appeasement. Maybe the money's better in appeasement. Because I see a lot of folks out there that, not a lot, there's a few, that want to play everything neutral. You can be neutral, but if you're gonna discuss both sides of any case, and you're going to be neutral, you better have some kind of context to the case, whether you're neutral or not. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea who's going to win between Oberon Americas and MPS Monitor. I can tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of Valsoft. I think y'all know that. But the bottom line is, if you're going to be an industry analyst, if you're going to be an industry consultant, you are really doing a disservice if you can't put any context to any of your content. It's absurdity, and you can't just run around appeasing everybody, hoping that everybody remains happy. Because when the courtrooms get involved, not everybody's happy, I assure you. Let me read some of this for you. Kind of set the tone, and hopefully it'll inspire you all to go read the whole damn thing. And I know a lot of you only want to read like 2 words and you're bored, but let me read some of this. The venture saw enormous success. MPS and Oberon Americas established a target for Oberon Americas to connect 150,000 printing devices in the Americas to the MPS software by December of 2022, growing that total to 1.2 million devices by 2029. By March 2023, Oberon Americas had already developed a customer base of approximately 2.5 million devices, well on its way to becoming the 150 plus million business that its shareholders envisioned when they placed their capital at risk. Oberon America's success dwarfed MPS efforts to distribute its own software in Europe and elsewhere. Under the agreement, Oberon Americas was making more money than MPS from American business. Indeed, upon information and belief, the American market was so lucrative that Oberon Americas became more profitable of a company than MPS. So in this merits case, Oberon America, hey, we agreed to do this for you. Here's some numbers we're going to deliver to you. We want this agreement to 2029. Here's the numbers we're going to achieve by 2029. In 2023, they're well above some pretty good numbers. They're successful. In this merits case, they're claiming that they're actually more successful than MPS is back home. Let me read a little more. But success breeds jealousy. Soon MPS, I don't care about who's leading MPS, okay? Because whoever's leading MPS Monitor is irrelevant, because the real owner of MPS Monitor and the real leader of MPS Monitor is Valsoft. They'll do whatever they want. Whoever's leading it today might not be there tomorrow. Began searching for ways to cut Oberon Americas from the profitable American market. MPS eventually acquisition by Valsoft, a private equity company that upon information and belief carries a reputation for targeting closely held companies, stripping assets from the companies they acquire and saddling them with debt, reneging on agreements with former management, and other bad faith and business practices only accelerated these efforts. MPS, now backed by Valsoft, formed an unholy alliance intent on subverting Oberon Americas by any means to claim the American market for themselves. In furtherance of that goal, the leaders, if you will, came with a two-pronged attack on Oberon Americas. And I think this is where the conspirators come in. Let me wrap it up with just this last paragraph. Beginning on an unknown date, but no later than in or around October 21, the MPS conspirators agreed to eliminate Oberon Americas through a combined attack strategy amid avoiding Oberon Americas' exclusivity rights under the agreement, driving down its acquisition value, usurping its business relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I shared enough with you for you to go read this whole thing. Break it up in sections. I know a lot of folks, like I said, they only want to read like one sentence and they're done. This merits case provides an important lesson for the industry. I believe it also highlights the lack of reporting by our industry's media. The lack of ability in our industry's consultants to actually talk about anything that's relevant. We're seeing it every day unfold in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. And as this industry goes through more consolidation and more disruption, as more things end up in courtrooms, we need to be able to discuss this stuff. Our dealers need to understand this stuff. I'll do my best to bring awareness to all these lawsuits that I see coming and how I see these could hurt or harm or even help our industry. But there's something we definitely need to be talking about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as I started out, decisions from courtrooms increase as an industry consolidates based on disruption to its relevance. Just a fact. And everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.